Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 27th. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. It's a weird day already. It's really loud. It's super windy here. Mercury retrograde is doing what Mercury retrograde does. Like, my TikToks are not working. Like, nothing's working. And the energy is actually very weird today in that we are in an incredibly long void moon that actually started yesterday afternoon. The last aspect that the moon made was a sextile to Mercury. So there's this energy here of really rethinking things. We're kind of in this space where we're in our heads a bit. We're definitely rethinking our belief systems, what we think, where our old conversations. The moon is in Libra, so this could have a lot to do with your one-on-one interactions with other people, your ideas on relationships and things of that nature. Now the moon is making a couple of minor aspects. It already made in conjunct to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. That could have been a little moment of like an aha, uncomfortable type of thing that kind of shifts you a little bit, shifts your belief systems a bit. And then it will also make it in conjunct to Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So this is also that lifting the veil, truth coming out type of energy as well. So really today has got you just kind of questioning everything, right? And it's definitely, being in that void energy. There's not really a lot to do with it other than meditate on it, think about it, type of energy. Now later this afternoon, I think it's around 5:30ish. And what time period am I in? Mountain time. That's what time period I'm in. So a little before 5:30, the moon will move into Scorpio, which will then put Pluto in Aquarius in charge, and it's going to square off with that Pluto. So we're going through the entire day in this very in-between space where things are becoming kind of clear. We're really rethinking a lot of stuff, not really getting a whole lot done, but really kind of seeing things a little more clearly. And just getting in our heads about stuff, really. And then throughout the day, the Venus and gosh, see, look, Mercury retrograde, it's messing with me. Venus in Capricorn is in charge throughout the day. So there is this energy as well on an emotional subconscious level of wanting to make sure that you're maintaining your boundaries with people. You're wanting to like really either build some good strong foundations with people, but also make sure that you're like listening to your intuition, you're paying close attention to what's being said, you're making sure that you have good emotional boundaries, like you're really taking care of your own self within your relationships type of energy going on here. So but then we move into that scorpionic energy this evening. And we have that square to Pluto in Aquarius where there's like this intense conflict, an emotional conflict, something that is kind of psychologically difficult, okay? And basically what's happening is these quincunxes or these inconjuncts that are happening combined with that square that we end out the day with is really pushing us to make some type of change in our lives and push us in a different direction, push us forward for ourselves as individuals, right? So our cards, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and all of these cards are major arcanas, which means that this is a major turning point. It is an important day. This void moon, this time of silence and meditation and just thinking things through is incredibly important for our next move, right? So the energy of the day is the Wheel of Fortune, that forward movement, that change, that growth, that expansion is there. You can feel that. This is actually the Jupiter card, and we're in Sagittarius season, which is ruled by Jupiter. However, we have all of that like backing up kind of energy, that reviewing kind of energy happening as well, that's showing us where we need to make these changes, where we need to move forward, right? Then what we're focusing on here is the star, on that hope. We're focusing on that light at the end of the tunnel. Where is it that we're trying to go? Where is this forward movement pushing us towards? But, and this is where things get a little weird, we're avoiding the Temperance, and we have 9 of Swords on the bottom, okay? So the Nine of Swords on the bottom tells me that there is some emotional intensity that is driving all of this. There is some anxiety. There is this depression, sadness, nightmare type of energy that's pushing us forward, and we're avoiding the Temperance, which is telling me we're holding on to this. We're holding on to the anger and the anxiety. We're not turning that into something useful yet, because sometimes you have to have that anger to drive you forward. Sometimes it takes that anxiety to push you forward. And that's kind of where the energy that I'm getting here is like we're in this space where that intensity, that emotional and psychological difficulties is what is pushing us towards that star, the hope, right? Sometimes when we like actually sit down and heal this stuff and we work through it in the moment, we stop trying to push forward, right? We're like, we get comfortable with it and we just end up staying where we are, right? But it's one of those situations where conflict creates change. And sometimes you have to hold on to that anger to make the change happen, okay? And I know that's really weird and it doesn't fit in the whole love and light and high vibes only thing, but honestly, that's what it takes to a lot of the times is just being angry is what you need in order to make the change. If you make peace with your anger, you're going to keep sitting there in that situation. If you make peace with the situation, you're not going to leave that situation. Nobody makes a change when they're comfortable. So you have to get uncomfortable sometimes in order to figure out where it is that you need to be heading, okay? Get uncomfortable with your thoughts. Embrace the uncomfortable thoughts so that you know where you need to move from here. Let's pull some clarifiers here on the Wheel of Fortune. We have an Ace of Cups. Wow, my video is really not downloading. That's wild. Ace of Cups, and what else? Seven of Swords. So this is that emotional offer, but also some shadiness involved, like some theft type of energy. Oftentimes this comes up with a I find it a lot of times shows up as like a theft of my peace of mind, if that makes sense. Like somebody comes along and is like, hey, here, let me help you, but then they're like real shitty about it, and it really messes with my head, right? So the energy is this moving forward, but what we're moving forward from are the people that are offering you help under false pretenses, people that are offering you love under false pretenses. There's a lot of clarity in the day where we are starting to see other people for who they really are. We're starting to see them as the shadiness, right? That Pluto moving into Aquarius is exposing a lot of things about the people around us. And we need to make sure we're paying attention to that. We're actually not necessarily dealing with it, but we're moving on from it. We're accepting the reality for what it is, and even when it's hard, okay? And we are moving forward from that. We're leaving that behind, okay? Clarifiers for the star energy. We have a Queen of Wands and Death. Okay. So we're focusing on the star, the hope, where it is that you're trying to go, what it is that brings you happiness. Right. And there's this manifestation. We're manifesting the change, the transformation, right? We are using all of that ugliness, because the Death card is Scorpio energy, right? We are using that destruction part of Pluto to create something, to manifest something, to move forward towards our own star, towards our own hope, instead of the hope of what everybody else was projecting on you, okay? Clarifiers for Temperance here. We have 9 of Wands. That's real similar to what I got right there. 9 of Wands and 5 of Wands. All right. So we're avoiding finding that balance. We're avoiding that transmutation of the energy. We're avoiding turning the ugly into something positive, right? This is about like that wounded warrior. You've already been through the fight, but you're still having to defend yourself. Like, it's coming back to you again. You got to deal with it one more time. You've got to be combative. You've got to stand up for yourself, right? This, I don't even know how to put this into words. Mercury has got me confused. When you take the time to understand where this shady person is coming from, a lot of times you convince yourself that you can fix it, right? A lot of times you can convince yourself that, oh, they want to change. They might even confess to you that they're shady as all hell, right? And we'll convince ourselves, oh, well, they want to change. They want to do this. They want to do that. No. No, they don't. And maybe they do really want to, but when somebody's at the very beginning of a healing process, it's the second they get comfortable, they're going to revert right back to it, okay? It takes people going through hard times to actually make the change. It takes people facing their own karma to make the changes that they need to make. And don't save other people from their karma type of energy. So make sure that you've got your guard up, you're willing to stand up for yourself, you're willing to fight back for your own peace, and don't go, oh, it's okay, we'll work through this together, when somebody has already showed you who they are, okay? And we have 9 of Cups on the bottom. What's really interesting, the 9's on the bottom here, so that tells me that we're close to an ending of something happening. But this one here is like a emotional fulfillment, right? So you need to stand your ground with others, and you need to really make sure that you're allowing the things to die off that need to die off, so that you can get into this emotional fulfillment, so you can create your own future, you can follow your own hope, your own star, so that you can stop staying in the box that everybody else is wanting you in. And today is going to bring a lot of clarity on where that is that you're supposed to be heading, but it's probably going to do it through some difficult means, through some uncomfortable aha moments, through exposing the people around you in a way that maybe you don't like, that makes you uncomfortable. But we really need to make sure that we are focusing on the reality of what is going on in the world around us and the people around us, in order for us to actually move forward for ourselves as individuals.